Hello there and welcome back to the channel. So it's been a few days since I had a video. I had to do some traveling. So anyway, I am back today and I'm going to tell you about why the narcissist is running out of time. Every one of them, everywhere, every single narcissist, the one you know, the one I knew, all the ones we all know, and every one of them out there is running out of time. And it's not just in one or two ways, it's in several. The narcissist is basically a tumbleweed blowing in the wind. They wander through life aimlessly. They have no purpose. And what I mean by that is they personally have no meaning and purpose for in their lives. They are completely hollow. They have very, very little to no depth of personality, of character. They don't think about the future. They don't think about what's to come. They don't plan ahead in any productive way. Any planning, plotting, scheming they usually do is against people. But they basically just bobble around. But they're worse really because they're like a tumbleweed with spikes. So they just aimlessly drift around and bounce around place to place wherever the wind blows them, up in their emotions, no thought, no rationality. And what they do though is they hurt everything they hit. Unlike a tumbleweed, they hit everything, they damage everything. So not only do they aimlessly wander through the world, but everyone they interact with, every relationship, every meaningful anything, they just basically destroy it. They damage it every single time. So it's not the point of the video, but I hate to say this about any person, but they barely qualify as people. What I'm saying is their lives are meaningless. They have basically no good purpose on earth at all. They basically don't do anything valuable, noteworthy, productive. They don't benefit society at all. But here's the thing. They are running completely out of time. There's four ways I'm going to talk about today, and there's lots of little ways in between there. But so let's start with the first one. The narcissist, I don't care whatever you think you see, the narcissist is losing their appeal slowly but surely. And it's not always slowly. I've said this before. The narcissist I dealt the most strongly with, that person, when I met the narcissist, they were relatively attractive. They had their lives, at least seemingly somewhat in order. Their lives weren't absolute chaotic helter skelter across the board, and they were somewhat attractive. In about 3 years' time, all that's changed. I mean, radically. Person is doesn't look nearly the same. Life situation isn't nearly the same. Far more baggage, far more negative things, far more experiences, very, very, very quickly. It's almost like what happens is when the narcissist rarely does anybody, but when the narcissist gets that opportunity with a rare gem of a person of the light who could really be so good for their lives, so truly good, and they sabotage it and they blow those people up, there's an extra special little reaping effect that happens because that person's life went absolutely after me, and I've seen that happen in other situations. They do get what they have coming because I think there's an element to which God's like, nah, this time you did it to one of mine. Nah, this was your shot. You had an extra shot you shouldn't have had. It was a really great shot, and you did all these evil, wicked things. Now you're really going to experience it. So sometimes that happens quickly. Sometimes it's slower. It's just a slow descent into the darkness for the narcissist, but they are losing their appeal. They are losing their looks. And I know narcissists who are still in their mid 30s, early 40s, very attractive, very attractive, but not like they were 5 years ago, not like they were 10 years ago. And give them another 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 years, and their looks are going to depreciate rather noticeably. It's inevitable. It's absolutely inescapable. They're going to lose it. And the reason I talk about this, the looks with the narcissist, is because that is their chief means to manipulate, especially the female covert, especially. But narcissists rely heavily upon their looks a lot of the time. If they don't have money or some other really valuable resource, then looks and charisma and that appeal, that's really their calling card. They lose it. Everyone's going to lose it. And as they do that, their supply starts to dry up. At least the good people who would go after them, it starts to dry up. But this has an effect on their personality too. They really sincerely do get worse with time. Sorry, something fell in my bathroom. But they do get worse with time. Their personality deteriorates. It just gets worse. And they become more unlikable, more of a curmudgeon, more difficult to be around, and most people don't want to deal with it. So you put that combination together. The narcissist is just bit by bit a little less attractive, a little more obnoxious, a little more abrasive, a little more critical, and it just builds. And that cumulative effect makes them basically unappealing. So they're running out of time to do all these wicked, manipulative things, at least at the level that they're used to. Another thing is, they are being exposed. Now, I am always fair in saying a lot of people still don't understand narcissism. Most people don't get it at a high level, at least. There are people who will never figure it out. But with the age of social media and all the things we have today, everyone knows everybody's business in a way they never have. The knowledge about narcissism is absolutely skyrocketing. And let me give you just a quick example of how this works, even in the secular world. So obviously there's a million dating apps and there's social media and all these things. And most people today are a man or a woman of the world. They just do whatever the world is doing. They're just part of the world, the devil's construct. They just operate with that kind of mindset. That's most people. But even a lot of these people are figuring things out to a degree. With all the male coaches, female coaches, influencers, most men and women are on the dating apps. Most men and women are just hooking up or randomly dating that is most people, but it's getting figured out on both sides. Because now all I hear, even from the secular, totally secular, non-believing, non-Christian viewpoint, whether it's a guy or a girl, they're all starting to sound identical. Men and women blame each other for doing the same exact things. I'm not going to go into what's really going on because I'll just make some of my viewers mad. I'm not going to do that today. I do that plenty enough. Point is, watch a female influencer, and what are you going to hear? Guys just ghost all the time. They just disappear. There's no good men. They're highly critical. They have unrealistic expectations. They build something up and then they drop off. They only want one thing. And then you turn on a male influencer. Women just ghost. That's all they do. They just ghost you. They build something up and they drop off. They can't be satisfied. They can't be satiated. They're dealing with all these people. And basically, what the point is, everybody's catching on to everybody's games. No matter who is more to blame, it's not even the point of this. Everybody is catching on. Men are wanting women to chase. Women are wanting men to chase. Men are dealing with many women. Women are dealing with many men. They all know, everybody is now understanding how this works. Women are giving up on relationships and men are giving up on relationships. And do you see basically even the man and woman of the world in the truest sense, the most worldly people, they're like, whether you're a guy or a girl, there's no point in this. Every man does this, every woman does this, everybody does this. And so you also can't get away with it. A lot of these practices I'm talking about are narcissistic stuff. Giving silent treatment, having backups, talking to a lot of people, ghosting, building things up and disappearing, and all of these things are narcissistic. But everybody is doing it so much that everybody knows they're doing it. When most of the world does particular things, guess what? Most of the world also knows that people do these kinds of things. And so people now today, for the most part, when you're a guy, and let's say you're dealing with a female narcissist, it becomes pretty apparent much quicker than it used to. Oh, hey, she's getting sexual. Hey, she's love bombing me. Oh, she just disappeared for 3 days. Oh, nah, no thanks. No thanks. Women, same way. This guy's doing this and this. Oh, in the first 30 minutes of conversation, he's talking about sexual thing. Nah, nah. People are figuring it out. Even the worldly folks who just play this endless game and all this nonsense, they're understanding what the other sex is doing all the time. And they're fighting fire with fire and they're projecting but it's this mess where everybody's dealing with a bunch of people and everybody's doing the same things, but everybody's now seeing that everybody's doing the same things. So in that sense, narcissism is getting exposed. The narcissist is going to have a harder and harder time day by day pulling off their stuff on people. I've dealt with that too. After I went through the ringer with the narcissist and I got all that high level education about what they do, I've encountered other people since then. And I started to see the red flags and I went, no thanks. Nope, I don't think I'll chase you. I don't think I'm going to chase you. Nope, I know what you're doing. An uneducated prior to the narcissist me maybe would have done that, but they can't get over on people as easily because people are figuring it out. I mean, do you track with that? Doesn't mean everybody does. Doesn't mean there aren't suckers, and not just suckers. Doesn't mean there aren't people who are kind of more naive and haven't dealt with it. Doesn't make you wrong. Doesn't make you a bad person. We were all there at one point. We just didn't know what we didn't know. Still plenty of those out there, but a whole lot less than there used to be. So that's the downside about this. The world, you want to play all these games and do all this toxic nonsense, and you get more and more and more and more people doing it. Well, it gets harder to do it at some point because the average man or woman's like, oh, she ghosted. He ghosted. Oh, why'd he pull away? Oh, he's trying to get me to chase. Oh, she's trying to get me to chase. And they're just not doing it. They're just not doing it as much anymore because they know it's futile, it's pointless, and they've seen how it works. So the narcissist doesn't have this ability to manipulate the way that they did because their schemes and their patterns are being discovered. They're running out of time to do this at this very widespread level. In fact, many of them are already out of time. It's not going to work on a lot of people already today because it's too discovered. Another one, they are getting older. That's an inevitability. And I'm sorry to say, no matter what, the older you get, the more difficult it usually is to do any of these narcissistic things. Like I said, they lose their looks, they lose their personality, they get more jaded, they get more bitter, they get harder to deal with. More people figure out who they were. They can't get anybody in their hometown anymore because everyone knows who they are. Maybe they can't even go to the town 20 minutes over anymore because people there know who they are. There's lots of different things to this. I mean, the more body count they accrue, the more bad experiences, the more relationships shattered, the more people that they destroy, the older they get, the more difficult this gets for them. I've had people, narcissists, tell me it only gets harder as you get older because they know it. They know they're losing all the things that make them valuable in the sight of the opposite sex, and they're getting their ability to manipulate is decreasing. That's just the truth. So yeah, they're getting older, and that's not going to help any of them. That is their way of running out of time. But of course, that also means they have an expiration date. Their lives have an expiration date. The narcissist thinks in their minds, I promise you they do. I promise you they operate this way, especially the younger they are. They think they have infinite time. They think there's never, ever going to be a point when they can't get away with all the stuff they get away with. There's always going to be another person to monkey branch to, another source of supply, another good individual. Yeah, I blew it up with them, but there'll be another good opportunity and another and another and another and another. And they think this. And they think I'll just be able to get on the dating apps forever and have all these people to deal with. I'll be able to line up people as backups forever. People will put up with my stuff because I'm pretty forever. And they're wrong on all counts. Because, like I said, they're getting older. Their looks are suffering. They're being exposed. They're just not going to be able to keep this song and dance up forever. They're not. But they think because they're delusional that they will. And guys, that's most of the world today. I talk about this so much anymore, but everybody in the days of Noah, this last day scenario we're dealing with here, they function as though there's infinite time. I'll always be able to play these games with my family and my friends. I'll always be able to screw people over and replace them and come back into their lives and do my triangulation and silent treatment, mess with them and mess with this person and that and that and that and that. People think that today. That's how they operate. They don't think down the road. They don't see their own mortality. They don't see the signs of the end upon us. And they just do whatever they want, thinking there's an infinite amount of time. And there's not. There's not. There's not. That's for anybody who needs to understand that. You don't have an infinite amount of time in any respect. So, of course, their own human mortality looms for the narcissist. Nobody's escaping that one. But that leads to my last point. The hour is getting late. It's just getting late. Human behavior is at an all-time worse. We have almost every major expectation today for the last days being fulfilled, from human behavior to the state of the world, to there being a final Babylon, a final Babylonian empire, Revelation's beast from the sea, Daniel's fourth beast, the final manifestation of the Babylonian Roman Empire beast. That's here. And if you live in the country I do, you live in it. So there's a little hint. I'm doing a book right now that's going to talk about all of this, and I'm definitely going to talk about it when it's finished. But we have the Babylonian Empire, the final beast, the fourth beast, that's upon us. The harlot of Revelation is upon us. The apostate church is here, the great apostasy, the falling away. We've had what could be described as the great lie of 2 Thessalonians 2 and the delusion, which was COVID, that went across the world. There, I said it. This video probably going to get banned. Enjoy it while it's up. and we even have an antichrist figure that is it fits the bill almost to perfection, in my opinion. And that's maybe for another video, certainly for the book. Point of it is, we're running out of time. There is not in this world, in my honest opinion, I could always be wrong. Could always be wrong. All of the stuff I just mentioned, I could be wrong about it. I don't think so. I really don't believe that's the case. So we do not have the decades and decades and decades of world history left to live. We don't have that in all likelihood. The narcissist is running out of time. It's getting late. All the games, all the nonsense, all the stuff they do, people aren't even in relationships hardly anymore. Like it it is so bad. Go see my last video. It is so bad, it's almost indescribably bad, the state of humanity. It's the days of Noah 2.0. It's worse than it was then. It's way worse than it was even then. Because of the things at our disposal through the smartphone, internet, all of that. It's way worse. The devil runs around like a roaring lion. We know in Revelation 20, when Satan is released from the pit, which I think is metaphorical, it's not, it really happens, but he's not chained up. He's released at the last days, basically. And that's like for another video. But what he does is he goes around and he basically just raises an army. He manipulates. He knows his time is short. He's basically just running around like a wild maniac. That's what the narcissist is doing. Have you ever wondered why is it that narcissism is so rampant, and why is it that their behavior is so unbelievably toxic and vile and noticeable, just to in absurd proportions? Because the narcissist is doing the same thing. We're in the last days. The narcissist is doing everything they can to be the most wicked, vile creature they can, to destroy as many people, to steal as many souls. We have the worst human behavior imaginable today on this earth. But here's my point. They're running out of time then. They're not going to be able to do this for the next 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. In my opinion, they're not. I just don't see any way we have that kind of time with everything that is transpiring, including, as I talk about all the time, the rampant increase in narcissism. It has gotten so bad so fast that it must be moving toward a peak. So they're running out of time. They're living a godless life, which is not a godless life at all, really. It's under the lordship of the devil. But they think it's godless. They think, because I don't serve, they don't serve the Lord. So they're going to live their own rebellious lives, run around and blow people up, have the most toxic behavior, rack up body counts, rack up victims, rack up crumbled situations. And they're doing this at a level absolutely unseen in human history, because it's all reaching a pinnacle. It's all reaching a climax. And that means for the narcissist, their time is running out. They're not, the narcissist you're thinking of right now is not going to be able to do their games and their manipulation and all this for that much longer. They really aren't. It's absolutely all running out for them in every way. They're losing their looks, they're losing their personality, they're losing their ability to manipulate, because people are figuring it out. It's so rampant that even the average Joe everywhere, average Joe or Jill, is seeing this. And of course, the hour is getting shorter and shorter by the day. So yeah, they are running out of time in every possible way. So my advice at the end, I guess, for all of us is A, to understand this, but B, don't worry about what that narcissist is doing. Don't worry about what any of them are doing, because they're like the devil. They're on short time. They are on really short time. Just take care of yourself. Just take care of your salvation, those around you, those whom you can possibly affect. Don't don't waste your time thinking about whatever they're doing, because they don't have much longer to be doing any of it. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Drop comments below. Come at you with another one soon, of course. And until then, God bless.